There are places in the universe where time itself forgets to move, where light bends upon itself, and sound becomes memory, where the universe, vast, cold, eternal, listens back. They called it Erebus 9, a black hole more massive than thought possible. It sat like a wound in the fabric of space, silent, hungry, devouring even the whisper of its own creation. For decades, no ship had gone near it, only telescopes, scanning its edge, recording what little they could, until one day the voices began. The first transmission arrived on a quiet morning at the Helios Observatory, orbiting the outer rim of the Perseus cluster. A series of faint radio pulses, distorted, nearly drowned by cosmic background noise. At first, they thought it was a glitch, interference from a dying relay satellite. But then, buried in the distortion, came a pattern, a rhythm too deliberate to be random. And then, a voice, faint, human, speaking words that no one could understand. It lasted exactly 7 seconds. Then silence. The recording spread across research stations like wildfire. Teams across the Alliance tried to clean it up, to decode it, to disprove it. But the deeper they listened, the more it sounded like us. A year later, the Astrius expedition was born. 5 scientists, 1 deep space vessel, and a single purpose: to orbit Erebus 9 and trace the origin of the echoes. The lead physicist, Dr. Lyra Hale, called it a song from the other side of understanding. Her colleagues called it madness, but they went anyway. For 2 years, they traveled through the dark, farther than any human voice had ever carried. And when they arrived, they found the black hole waiting, vast, silent, and alive. Its accretion disk spun in slow, majestic arcs of fire, bright enough to burn the mind. Light twisted around it like a river chasing its own tail. And behind that curtain of gravity, nothing. No stars, no reflection, only the event horizon, an endless mirror of absence. They deployed their instruments, tuned the receivers, and began to listen. For days, there was only static. And then, the voices returned. They came in fragments at first, half phrases, whispers, breaths between time, then sentences, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, sometimes speaking in perfect calm. The data logs showed hundreds of distinct voices, men, women, children, none of them matching any human record. Yet every voice was undeniably human. Lyra listened for hours, face pale in the flickering glow of the monitors. Some voices spoke in languages long extinct. Some spoke words that didn't exist at all. And one voice, soft, trembling, whispered her own name.
Lyra.
The ship's AI confirmed it. The signal carried her vocal signature, aged by roughly 50 years. It was her voice, calling from inside the event horizon. The crew argued. Some believed it was a trick of physics, gravitational lensing folding time upon itself, replaying echoes of possible futures. Others believed something conscious was speaking from beyond the singularity. Lyra said nothing. She simply watched the swirling light, hypnotized. Around the black hole's edge, space bent like glass. Every second stretched into eternity, every heartbeat into forever. And then, one by one, the others began to dream. They dreamed of familiar places, their homes, their loved ones, moments long past. But each dream ended the same way, standing before the black hole, listening to a whisper that called them by name. The ship's log began recording strange anomalies, faint EM fluctuations corresponding perfectly to human brainwave patterns. It was as if Erebus 9 was reading them, or remembering them. On the 41st day of orbit, Lyra made her choice. She ordered the others to leave, to take the shuttle and record from a distance. She would remain aboard Astraeus to complete the final scan. But the others refused. They argued for hours. But in the end, the decision was taken from them. Erebus 9 flared. A burst of gravitational radiation tore through their orbit, pulling the Astraeus closer. Engines failed, stabilizers shattered, and suddenly they were falling. Through the viewing port, the universe stretched into impossible shapes. Colors no eye had ever seen rippled through space like liquid light. Time slowed to a crawl. Lyra's voice, calm over the comms, said only one thing.
If time bends here, maybe we are hearing ourselves after the fall.
Then silence. They never should have survived the crossing. But when the ship's black box data was later recovered, there was one more recording, taken after the Astraeus disappeared beyond the event horizon. It began with static, then breathing, then Lyra's voice.
This isn't darkness. It's memory. I can see everything. The beginning, the end, all folded into one.
Her words trembled, half awe, half terror. The rest of the crew cried out, not in fear, but in realization. Their bodies were dissolving into light, their voices fracturing into vibration. They were becoming echoes, data written on the skin of space-time.
We are not falling. We are returning. The horizon isn't the end. It's the beginning. The place where everything we were is sung back to creation.
Then her voice faded, and the signal ended. Months later, a recovery drone picked up a faint transmission orbiting the event horizon, a tight beam of repeating sound. When decoded, it wasn't a distress signal. It was a melody, simple, human, a lullaby, carried on a wave of gravitational distortion. Inside, the harmonics were fragments of speech, Lyra's voice, the others, layered into one impossible chorus. When slowed down by a factor of 1 billion, the melody unfolded into language.
We are the echo and the source. We are the universe remembers of itself.
The recording became known as the Song of Erebus. No one could explain how it existed or how it traveled through the horizon. But when scientists played it through low-frequency speakers, gravitational detectors across the solar system resonated in perfect sync, as if the universe itself was listening back. Years passed. No new missions were sent to Erebus 9. Its orbit was marked forbidden, its coordinates erased from official star maps. But late one night, on a lonely relay station, a technician caught an unauthorized signal. Faint, rhythmic, familiar. It wasn't the melody this time. It was a heartbeat. 2 beats per second, then 1, then silence. The technician stared at the waveform, uncertain whether it came from the black hole. Somewhere beyond the event horizon, something, or someone, still remembers what it means to be human. The universe, they say, is not a machine. It is not a void. It is a memory, vast and dreaming, unfolding itself in endless repetition. Every star that dies, every planet that forms, every life that burns and fades, they are all part of one great remembering. Perhaps black holes are not graves, but archives, cosmic libraries where the past is not lost, only kept beyond reach. Perhaps every whisper that falls into them becomes part of the song that keeps the cosmos alive. And if we listen long enough, through the static and the silence, we might just hear our own voices calling back from the other side of time. In the darkness beyond light, the universe remembers us, and maybe that is what eternity truly is.